My name is Stephen Kowalik. I'm the head of the Zeba Art Library, so I work for the Hunter College Libraries.
I'm Iris Finkel. I'm a reference and instruction and / web librarian here at the Cooperman Library.
I'm Steve Foglia. I'm here. I'm the assistant to the News Scholar program and representing sort of the Office of the Arts.
I'm Todd Miller. I'm a lab manager in anatomy and physiology in the bio department, and I teach anatomy and physiology labs.
Where the actual physical nuts and bolts of the exhibit were discussed.
We talked about our FITT proposal entitled Collaboration in Digital Technology Within Art History Pedagogy. And it's been a long process where we were involving ourselves in the classroom situation where there's a curatorial practicum course, 2-part course, one in the spring and one in the fall or vice versa, where students are actually creating a physical exhibit that takes place at Hunter College. And we were trying to incorporate new technology into the second course so that they would learn how to create an electronic exhibit in tandem with the physical exhibit.
So we had to evaluate technology for students to use. We had to build our lessons into the syllabus. And so we worked closely with the professor of the course, who unfortunately is not here now, but she was with us earlier. And so we worked closely with her, and then we worked with the students collaboratively. Ultimately, it was a collaborative project.
Sure. I spoke about using our FITT award to build digital communities through shared WordPress sites. We have 7 sections of the Hum 201 course, and we wanted to build community through among the professors and among the students through a linked network of subdomains, and how that has affected student work, planning of assignments, sharing of course materials, and how we might improve on that in the future.
So what we wanted to do was make a way for them to practice with the same kind of questions they're going to get on the actual assessment they're doing. And that's where we came up with. So our FITT, I worked with Frank Martinez over the summer of 2017 to build a set of visual model quizzes for our instructors to use with their students. So it's part of the assessment, and we decided to build these because of very demanding lab exams that have dozens of models, anatomical models. So we wanted an assessment that they could do before the exams happen, which are a very high pressure day, kind of for lower stakes, and to have the same kind of assessment on the same models, although it's a small slice. So we made like 60-something PowerPoints and enough quizzes to cover 28 sections of A&P labs, and we deliver all these as PowerPoint files to the instructors on Blackboard. And the students have model review quiz PowerPoints that are basically just a bunch of structures being pointed to, and then on the next slide it shows them the names. So they use this on their own to study, and those are delivered as PDFs and PowerPoint files. So it's a student tool, and it's also an assessment.
Well, we decided upon using Omeka, I don't think I mentioned that earlier, for our technology element. And after reviewing other potential examples, we felt that exposing the students to Omeka might enable them to learn techniques that could help them in job placements in the future, so that if they're working in the GLAM environment, they're definitely going to be curating shows and exhibits, but they might not have any background in creating or curating the electronic aspect of that show. And many people look at the websites first before they even go to museums, or even in place of going to the museum. So I think it's a tool that they should be aware of and are familiar with, so that potentially they can use it for acquiring future employment.
And we're also hoping that we can work with the studio art students who may be developing their own portfolios and to use that platform for their own work.
So with our students, there are a few dimensions to it. One of them is they're putting their work out publicly. They're commenting on each other's work and interacting with each other's work. It keeps a conversation going outside of class. it's really become it's shifted their entire engagement with the class to this course site. Another dimension of it is how we have shifted assignments to encourage them to do a different kind of writing or a different kind of presentation of image-based or video-based assignments. Going forward, we are looking for ways of really developing how they think about their online writing and developing ways of encouraging them to engage with each other in a way that feels natural in that community building sense, but also more thoughtful and perhaps slightly more academic in terms of the rigor of their writing.
So our students will be able to use these model review PowerPoints to directly prepare for the lab exams, which are pretty high stakes, like I mentioned. But they are assessed on these model review PowerPoints a week before the lab exam. So what that's going to do and is doing is making the students prepare a little earlier than they might have if they were left to their own devices. So it's kind of like enforcing and incentivizing early study and more proper preparation for a high stakes exam. Another unexpected thing that we saw was that students were using the visual model review PowerPoints and PDFs that we have on Blackboard. They would load them onto their phone or their iPad next to them, and they would use that to go through the models instead of a simple Word document or Excel sheet model key. So we started seeing them kind of using them one-to-one, which was unexpected and actually pretty cool. So hopefully we see the grades on the high stakes exams ultimately go up. That's the real underlying goal.
I would tell them that Iris and I learned through our process and discovered better and maybe more functional ways to deal with the issues involved. Those involved copyright and fair use was a major concern, and I think that students need to know about that in future endeavors.
I guess our two main learning takeaways that would be good for others to know about are technical side of it is not always straightforward. You have to think about who has the expertise and can you get those people working with you consistently. And then the other part of it is shaping really specifically what is it you're hoping to do with this technology and how do you guide the course towards that, which we've been getting a lot better at doing and hopefully will continue to improve on.
I would say that the main thing for any faculty in a course design or administration type of role has to figure out what their need is or what is the problem. And what we saw was a problem with execution and performance on assessments that were very, very hard. So, we tried to look at that and try to develop things that are directly going to help the students as directly as possible, rather than it being some other resource that looks a little different or from the internet, some images of the heart or something. You have them have the same model. So, and other things that we learned from our project were how to deliver things in a way that's as straightforward as you can make it so that we don't have to train 15 or 16 TAs how to do anything. They all know how to open the files and how to handle it. So try to make things easy was one of the things. And definitely how to set up a workflow. We made so many different files, so many different quizzes. We were basically doing things in parallel, not one thing from beginning to end. So we had a lot of kind of like behind the scenes workflow innovations, if you will, that if someone were to talk to us about, they'd probably get some illuminating information on.
So I forgot technology certainly is a big issue with the platform that we selected as well. Omeka is an open source platform, but they do host on their own, and that requires payment. So dealing with funding and training on the technology is something that we would instruct other instructors on working with and how to deal with.
But we would not expect those instructors to be the Omeka users themselves. We want the students to be the hands-on content creators in Omeka, not the instructors themselves. So we don't want to scare faculty away who might not be as adept in technology as others, but it's definitely the focus is on the students learning how to do it all. And it's fairly simple, actually. If I can do it, it's pretty simple.